I like to say that there are no bad tanks, only bad players, tanks that are not meta, etc. etc. I thought that until I played this tank, IMX 65T, and honestly it sucks a lot. I like to read about tanks before I play them on VOD Wiki. There I read that this is probably one of the worst, or probably the worst, heavy tank on tier 8. And I thought that probably it isn't that bad. And then I played it and it really sucks. Why? Because it doesn't have armor. I mean, it has some on the turret, but it doesn't matter as much as you think. Your hull is a paper thin armor, and your mobility is bad. I mean, I like to play IMX 5100. It's the same tier, only with autoloader. And for me, IMX 65T is IMX 5100 without everything fun about it. So without autoloader and mobility. You get some armor on your turret, but if you use upgraded turret like me, it doesn't matter. Mainly because your enemies see your weak points first. When I played first time on the ridge line with upgraded turret, I got hit without seeing the enemy on the other side of the hill. And I was looking where I was hit exactly. And it was always the same. The copula, I mean the bigger copula on this turret. You can play with stock turret, which is better if we are talking about armor. But you are sacrificing some gun handling, HP, and what else? View range. With stock turret you are pretty much blind. Now let's talk about guns. This tank has 3 guns, and it's pretty much the same story like with the turret. So every gun gives something and takes something. For example, first gun, stock gun, 90mm is the best if we are talking about gun handling and DPM. But its alpha and pen is the worst probably. The next gun which I'm using right now is something in the middle. It's 100mm with over 300 alpha, but its DPM isn't that good, pen is okay, and gun handling is well, okay, mediocre, below a bit. It works, let's say that. And last gun, 120mm, is pretty much only about alpha. Everything else is the worst out of 3 guns, and well, if you want to hit for 400 alpha, well, it's gun for you, but it gives nothing more. And as you can see, if you want to play this tank well, you have to fight things that can fight you back. I mean, hit for hit isn't okay with this tank. And you can't brawl. I mean, if you have a chassis like that has paper thin armor, you can't fight in close quarters. Mainly because your DPM is bad and you have to aim. And your enemy doesn't have to. He just put one round after another in your hull. For example, I fought against Black Prince one time, and he was able to outtrade me, and I had to aim. Even with this gun I had to aim well to pen him. So don't fight against anything pretty much in close quarters, because it will probably has better DPM than you, or it will have armor, unlike you. But back to the game. I'm having a good time in this tank this time. I mean, I'm fighting things that can fight me back, and I can pen without aiming too much, because my aim time and gun handling in general are bad. And well, this is what you have to do. You have to fight things that can't fight you back. And there goes my first kill, and maybe second. I think this bad chat was on reload, or it... no, it didn't have locked turret. Now I am loading gold for that defender, because on the standard rounds I will probably will have really hard time. But this is unexpected, and as you will see probably now, I don't know, but this is probably turret, not a weak point. And with gold I was able to deal with defender, because he didn't even try to hide his chassis, or I don't know, side scrape for example. It was very typical for defender players, because they think their armor is super great, but if you know how it works, it isn't that great. Now I'm going to deal with that Waffenträger with high explosive round, and I mean, if I hit well it will cause a lot of damage, but you will see what happens exactly. I think it went directly into his gun, and here goes my first big mistake in this game. I underestimated Waffenträger's alpha and courage, let's say. So now I'm on a hit, for pretty much everybody on the enemy team. And I decided to fall back and wait for backup, or to see what will happen now. And I still have high explosive round ready for that Waffenträger, and this is a big mistake, or timing mistake. I mean, it would probably deal a lot of damage unless I hit tracks, for example. For you, it's probably difficult to understand why I did that. Well, I wasn't sure where are everybody on the enemy team, so I wanted to have something different than high explosive round. And later I didn't change it because, well, I don't like high explosive rounds. For me they are unreliable, as you could see with that hit on Waffenträger and his gun. And even though it was very risky, I mean, he could survive that last hit and I could die before even. It was everything okay, and I'm very happy, I'm overjoyed, because I did a lot of damage, I know that. I did some spotting and everything in this, well, in this tank. I mean, it's ace in a hardcore tank. I mean, it's like difficulty for heroes, or you know, suicide difficulty, like it's called in many games. And now I want only to survive for mission, because I probably have ace and I want to do a mission as well. I think it's for killing 4 tanks and surviving. So I want to finish it with honors, and that's all. And maybe I will make one more kill shot or not. And as you will see in statistics, I didn't bounce a single round. I got hit 3 times and everything went in. And that's what sucks about it, this tank. It can't survive long enough, it doesn't have DPM. But you can still have some fun in it and do well if your enemies suck and if you, well, hit when they can't hit back. As you can see, it was ace tanker. I got my first mic on this tank. I did almost 3500 damage and 1800 spotting. Most of the damage I did on higher tier tanks. I missed only 5 rounds and Only two of them didn't pan, which is very surprising in this tank. But after all, it was a really good game. I mean, I'm proud of it mainly because these tanks suck. But you can still do something in it. Have a nice day, guys, and see you soon.